Giving up Ao Kwang wasn't an issue for game number 1. We'll see if it happens in game number 2. You know, man, Root Beer Tapper came to my mind before Whack-A-Mole. I think that's an issue. I think that's an issue. Spending a little bit too much time in the world of video games. In any event, NRG going to change things up, or at least for now, starting on the left side with the first pick of the first ban.
We'll see what kind of strategy they opt for. We know that they like Terra, so this should be a ban from Fantastique trying to prevent iRaffer from really going off, because it's such a scary god to go against. Even though it doesn't have the best success at the moment in time, going against some gods that don't have escapes, with the root and the stun, you have to respect the Terra.
It also seems like a iRaffer god to me, to be completely honest with you. Fantastique right now. This week is not fun for second pick, because you're basically saying, do you get Fafnir, do you get Fafnir, or do you get Terra? Which one? Because
I would go for Terra.
Second teams are still banning Nemesis. So.
And that's what we saw that NRG did. They banned Nemesis Fafnir the last game. It's going to be the Fafnir, though. So there's still merit to going Fafnir over the Terra, because you have a lot of late game options. Now you can go for the Soul, Kronos, or Freya to pair up with it. You can't really ban all three at this point for Fantastique.
Thor. We have a selection for WorldEdit here for Fantastique. We'll see where they go after that. It's going to be the Ravana. So NRG get their selection. I expect a Freya Neath combo here. Or, honestly, Freya Chiron combo.
No, knowing Yammyn, yeah, it could easily be the Chiron combination here. But either way, NRG put themselves in a good spot with that Fafnir pick. Immediately responding, though, MoGoW still going to be aggressive with his Ravana. Thor trying to take it away from adapting, but the way he played Susano last game to start things off was just on point, so he's going to pick it again. And this time, it's going to be paired up with the Isis.
That one threw me for a complete loop. So seeing this, so we predicted sort of the Freya mid lane combination, and seeing a Freya X combination, Freya jungle combination makes sense to me. I'm not too surprised there, seeing the Susano selection, but the Isis instead of a Freya certainly surprised me just a little bit.
Something that they did yesterday against Hungry for More was exactly this. Instead of Susano Isis, it was Defender Isis, and they waited for their Hunter pick because they had so many options. They didn't need to commit to it quite yet. So that means they're going to be very aggressive in the mid jungle, trying to look for these picks around Fire Giant Elementals, around the mid Harpies, and then wait for that late game Hunter with the Fafnir to really get things rolling.
Fantastique with the team with Terra here, and the Ravana coming out from NRG. They don't want to see MoGoW. Keep in mind, MoGoW in that solo lane has a tendency to really play Ra's, one of his more powerful characters, meta be damned. And the Jingwei was a very important pick. This Terra Jingwei combo is absolutely terrifying. It's remind me not to say that during the game.
Terrifying. I see what you did there.
It's absolutely insane. You're able to just knock a root into knock him into stun, or in any combination of the three rather. Fantastique's dual lane looking a little bit scary. NRG going to bring Anhur and Fafnir against it with Bellona in the short lane.
You definitely need a god with an escape against Terra, so you can't really go Freya or Kronos. We saw what happened when Panda Cat went Freya against the Terra. Like, you just can do anything during laning phase, so you pick a god that has an escape like Anhur, as well as having the CC immune ultimate.
And with the Kronos selection, Fantastique will finish their lineup. Mid lane Kronos, Terra Jingwei in the dual lane, Ravana in solo. And then it'll be up to WorldEdit in the jungle on Thor to really both protect mid lane and everything. And, you know, I'm really excited about this selection here for Fantastique. This is I'm pretty sure this is the first time we're seeing Kronos picked up by Fantastique. This is one of nulisa's hard carries. If you guys watched the SPL Combine earlier in this year, nulisa was under the name Squiddo and destroyed on the Kronos. And from my personal experience watching nulisa play, her Kronos is really, really dirty. Might be her best offensive god. We've seen a lot of Giannis out of her so far to really help the team. We've seen some other choices out of her. Vulcan, most notably. Kronos is a character that nulisa likes to lean on when she wants to do some heavy lifting. So I'm excited to see what Fantastique can do, finally giving their mid laner sort of run on the go.
Definitely a god that you can be aggressive with. You have the mobility, you have the playmaking opportunities, especially paired up with a Thor, but the problem is you're against an Isis and a Susano on the opposite end. One pull from adapting could spell the doom of nulisa, especially before level 5.
Well, she does have before level 5. Once you hit level 5 with the Kronos, of course, You do have the rewind capability, but a good team like NRG can sort of stop that.
And she also didn't opt to go for a Vampiric Shroud, which means that she doesn't have the health or the sustain really
Very true.
If she gets poked out by the, let's say getting pulled by adapting, stunned by Yammyn with a Spirit Ball into a Gust, she's probably going to die. Her health is, what, 440 max?
Yeah, that's very low.
At level 3, that should be enough damage on the side of NRG to find a kill on her.
We'll have to keep an eye on this Kronos very early on. Yammyn, on the other hand, speaking of early, on the Isis, certainly an early game character. This Isis-Susano combination is got to be very scary for Fantastique. Like you said, Kronos has to play this extra safe. But if all things are allowed to be that safe, we'll see Kronos translate very well into the late game. Left side, however, emilitoo chased out, but keep an eye on Dardez, already half damage.
He's trying to find initiation with his dash through the obelisk, trying to find the root, which forced out the jump from emilitoo, but taking so much poke in return. And now Fantastique, this is their composition where they want to try to be aggressive with this Terra. Imagine that wasn't an Anhur without an escape, how much poke he would have actually taken.
Dardez gets stunned thanks to the hammer out of iRaffer. And a nice stun out of Dardez onto both players. Honestly, the knockup hits them both too, so more NRG's fault than Fantastique being on the money. But still, Fantastique get aggressive. Good play. And here's the turnaround. emilitoo jumps forward, and Dardez with the perfect response drops the root.
emilitoo just a little too aggressive for his own kind and forcing the meditation from iRaffer. Probably not the timing that he really wanted to. So this gives a nice little opportunity for Fantastique to remain aggressive mid lane. As long as you spot out the mid-jungle combination, you can hug this tower line forever.
I mean, I honestly didn't mind the jump in from emilitoo. It was Dardez's immediate response that really shut that down. emilitoo jumps in and iRaffer able to follow suit. You've got a play that you could make here against the Fantastique dual lane. But emilitoo jumped forward and iRaffer got rooted on the backside, so he wasn't able to really assist his hunter. Just very quick play by Dardez to separate the dual lane.
And this is why Terra is just so powerful, able to control so much space, adapting, taking a lot of poke from WorldEdit, but just now hitting level 5 before WorldEdit. Could make a rotation play or go for those boots 3 first.
Dimi now pushing up onto MoGoW. We see the Robin one more time, but this time against the Bellona. How does this solo lane work out?
Well, we haven't really seen Bellona in quite a while because her teamfight presence is just not as strong in the mid game. But whoa, WorldEdit taking so much poke from adapting. The ultimate was used by both Yammyn and adapting, trying to kill WorldEdit.
We've seen a little bit of a rise of Bellona, I think mainly due to Freya play. Freya just gets shut down by her disarm very strongly. But most recently, we actually saw the Bellona and her ultimate combined with Frenzy. And the two the ultimate out of Bellona plus the Frenzy allowed the players to really just take down objectives very, very quickly.
Yeah, that was a great play that we saw yesterday for that Bellona. And yet again, Dimi still doing a good job poking, and he has to sustain with his Scourge. He's actually maxing it out first, already with 2 points over the Bludgeon.
So, it was just a couple of days ago that I actually specifically asked you, Mr. Solo Lane Anatoly, when do you opt away from the Bludgeon and into the Scourge? A lot of times that has to do with players being able to shut down your Bludgeon, players with silences and stuns, etc. You're looking at Hades and, I don't know, God forbid a Thanatos makes it to the solo, shouts the Cyclone Spin. But here we're actually seeing it. The Scourge being maxed.
It's because MoGoW, he wants to trade in hands, and you don't want to be on the lower end of the sustain wars against MoGoW because he'll be building up his shield off of his passive. He has the root for a little bit of sustain, so as long as you have your Scourge active, it's going to be so strong with the heal, and all you really need is the passive hammer to clear the wave. It doesn't have to be maxed out. As long as you're hitting 3 archers every swing, you'll eventually clear it faster than Robin can anyway.
That's the power of Terra right there. You're able to drop the stones, and if anybody even thinks about walking through whatever corridor you're dropping it down on, they're going to get stunned. iRaffer, I guess, could have jumped on in, but then he's locked in, right? It's fantastic area denial.
And Dimi, yet again, doing a good job finding the poke, going to force out the overhead kick, and that's something that we didn't talk about in this matchup, the cooldown difference between Bludgeon and overhead kick. You bait it out the first time around, and then the second time, as long as you use it immediately after, that's when you get the confirmed damage.
So another reason to see the Scourge go instead of the Bludgeon is the fact that 1 out of every 2 Bludgeons are going to be just completely immune. So the poke you get out of Bellona usually is kind of not really there. Early Gold Fury attempt coming out from NRG. until they decided to say no.
iRaffer, unfortunately, he forgot that when he uses his
Yep.
ultimate, that it resets the Gold Fury. So great attempt from NRG, just slight mishap, dropping an early gold.
That's the sad trombone moment. That's you just need the trombone player. Like, you just need that, man. Ooh, rough stuff out of NRG. They had nobody from Fantastique.
That was a great play. Like,
It was a
to think
fantastic
about it.
play.
Like, if it was going to work out, had the Gold Fury not reset, and all they needed to do was have Anhur still in the circle to have the Gold Fury aggro before the ultimate of iRaffer.
Oh man, that's so disappointing to see. But credit to NRG for immediately noticing the issue and just going back to base or going back to lane. Fantastique could have easily responded to that in time. So NRG dropped the Gold Fury, unfortunately.
Just not that much success with Gold Furies for them the past couple of days.
Yeah, and WorldEdit coming in here to the solo lane. I asked you that game one. I'm going to ask you again. Do you have to start to be alarmed about the lack of objective secure from NRG?
Not at all, because their team fights are still pretty good. Already forcing out the ultimate from
There's the
nulisa,
ball.
the circle of protection, trying to get her killed, and that was sustained from the Terra ultimate with the addition of WorldEdit and MoGoW. Now making the rotations, have to respect it, is NRG.
Good pathing from nulisa to go directly to her teammates. Sometimes it can be very difficult to run towards your enemy tower, but she does so, gets out alive. And like you said, certainly Kronos going to be the target early game.
So something that we talked about before that team fight happened was the presence of the Gold Fury adapting, taking a lot of poke, recognizing that the speed buff is available. He is level 9 compared to WorldEdit's level 8, but I wanted to even try to contest the speed. It was going to be a 1-on-3 had he committed.
Exactly. Your mid lane and your jungle are kind of stuck in lane. nulisa obviously just making it a base after being poked down. So NRG recognized that they have the power. That's what you do with pressure in the mid lane. You're able to invade, most notably on the speed buff or the red buff. Occasionally we see the Gold Fury come out after extra power. Yammyn going to be rooted, but not stunned, not damaged out. And left harpies will go to Fantastique. Rights get taken by NRG.
This is a small preview, though, of what Terra can really do. Even though nulisa wasn't in position to follow up the damage, you guarantee the time stop immediately after, so that forces purification. You don't want to get chain CC'd by, the stun from Terra, the root into the Kronos damage, especially if WorldEdit is in position to get the hammer off.
That's what we saw a number of times out of the guys on Thor. The duo lane that we see today out of Fantastique. The stun into the small circle on the bottom, gust from Jing, time rift from Kronos. Either way, you're going to get hit by a bunch of damage from Fantastique. So that Terra, NRG certainly going to have to keep their eyes on how well Dardez pilots it.
That's why he's 2 levels ahead. Forcing out the ultimate, Yammyn, nowhere to go. Caught in a wall. Great play from Fantastique, finding first blood.
Just blown up, and again, the WorldEdit with the perfect wall. The wall is honestly what gets first blood. I don't care who winds up with the kill. Good job, nulisa. The wall is what earned Fantastique the kill right there. Gold Fury half dead already. iRaffer gets stunned out, tossed up into the ultimate, and Fantastique are going to leash the objective. Here comes Susano, 2 people knocked up, and a short jump onto the player from iRaffer. But now iRaffer surrounded. Roma Invicta over the wall. nulisa gets her second kill of the game. Up, down out of WorldEdit, going to stun out one, and adapting, able to answer back, taking out the support.
MoGoW forced to use his ultimate under the tier 1 tower. Great rotation out of Dimi before MoGoW was able to really make a presence in that one. The ultimate from WorldEdit was just slightly off the mark on top of this. Now, without the Terra ultimate, that really hurt their teamfight prowess, I would say, for Fantastique.
Yeah, just lacking a couple of different tools. Either way, Gold Fury still standing, and that's the important play from NRG, able to defend the Gold Fury without really, too much. They got a single kill. It wasn't a huge team fight win, but they got the kill where it counted. Fantastique able to find one themselves, though, so 1 for 1. That's all even, especially considering nulisa's the one with the kill. You certainly want to help catapult this Kronos to the late game.
Dimi poking out MoGoW quite heavily, just going to trade off a tower shot just to try to stop the back of MoGoW. He doesn't have teleport available, and now it's going to be a Gold Fury attempt yet again from emilitoo this time. Looking at his build, he doesn't have lifesteal, so the longer this goes, the less favorable it is, even with that red buff.
And that's why we see him back off as Jing makes it to tower. emilitoo walking over the ward, so Fantastique know exactly where this Anhur is going to be anytime he dips into the jungle. Vision being stripped away by Fantastique. They'll have the vision on the side of the Gold Fury. iRaffer's got raw vision, though. He's showing up here, and that'll send Fantastique back into the mid lane.
It's probably going to be another play as adapting steal speed by Fantastique to try to go for the mid laner Yammyn. We saw just how difficult it was for him to really escape the initiation. So that's Fantastique's weak, I would say, exploitation of the weak spot from NRG.
10 minutes on the clock now. Team still dancing over this Gold Fury. Like we said, NRG have had some problems with it so far. Fantastique have noticed, and that's been a large part of their plan. Did I see Thor go to the sky? I did, but he's going to miss iRaffer. And iRaffer just going to sort of dance around, walking.
I think he was looking for adapting potentially or Yammyn, but NRG saw it from a mile away. They were able to retreat and spread out very effectively, and now adapting. He's still playing aggressive. This red buff's about to respawn.
And Fantastique have no clue that adapting is deep in their jungle. Taking away back Harpies. Adapting feels comfortable doing this because you can see the Isis pushed up and emilitoo making his rotation out of the left lane to mid. Adapting gonna get hit by the wall, but hit his own Typhoon. Knock up and pull her strong, but now he's being chased out. Fighting the mid lane, however, emilitoo, tons of damage being dished out. nulisa finds the perfect rewind, and emilitoo has to jump to safety.
Adapting, though, doing a great job zoning those two members on the left-hand side. As a result, we see WorldEdit. He split push left before he backed. Now he's going to be able to rotate all in this team fight. Dimi bullying out MoGoW, forcing out the ultimate just to hold on to the blue.
Yeah, MoGoW still trying to get the blue buff. It looks like it was taken by Dimi. So MoGoW loses that trade.
Dimi popping the sprint just to make sure he'll escape away from MoGoW. He still has his teleport available, but now without the sprint, he could get chased down here.
MoGoW not interested in the kill.
It's more about trying to push out the wave, maybe deny some golden experience, even last hitting just to deny it a little further as WorldEdit makes the rotation, trying to share it. He is a level behind adapting currently, so you want to be able to share as much as possible.
And again, another big lead going the way of NRG's solo lane. Dimi almost 1,000 gold up, as usual, and a level and a half above MoGoW. Maybe even 2 levels, to be honest with you, closer to 2 levels, and then a level and a half, but still. Dimi just having a very good time on this Bellona.
And his build dictates what he really wants to do in these team fights, going for the Witchblade, trying to limit the attack speed of MoGoW and nulisa. This really hurts the passive of MoGoW, and as well as the accelerate from nulisa. You're shutting down those two options.
And of course, Jing just being a hunter in general. Witchblade against 3 basic attack-oriented characters. Perfect itemization coming out from the NRG solo leader. Fantastique now on the defense. Dardez here, going to get stunned out against the wall. Nice pillar placement from emilitoo, but that's all they'll get.
But the sustain from the obelisk should be able to top off Dardez quite effectively enough. Gold Fury still available. Really good wards on the side of Fantastique to control it for so long, and they're just waiting for NRG to slip up, and they're going to be the ones to take this gold yet again.
Interesting build coming out from Fantastique's Hunter. We'll talk about it in a moment as Fantastique started the Gold Fury. Dardez is here, and he's got the obelisk down, threatening emilitoo, so he can't get too close. But the Gold Fury just being leashed over and over again. Now, emilitoo started with the Ichabod rush. Fantastique sort of followed suit, right? You got to go with the Ichabod, understanding that your opponent's going to want to fight, especially with the Anhur. But then Fantastique's Hunter, Jermain, actually going to build into the lifesteal gloves. nulisa in a lot of trouble. emilitoo able to find the kill. WorldEdit goes up, looking for a target.
Not going to land down without your mid laner. There's not much follow-up. That's a crucial part for Fantastique's team fight, having that Thor and Kronos side by side. And because the teleport was down for MoGoW, not able to rotate, free Gold Fury for NRG. It was a great rotation from Dimi with that Eagles rally.
Paid for it in full with the kill on to nulisa and some of the extra poke and pressure. So NRG able to pick up the Gold Fury, putting themselves 4,000 gold in the lead. Certainly a little bit different from last game. But going back to Jermain's build, the Devo gloves are being built this late. If they do if they do wind up being built into Devo gloves, is it too late to build a stacking item for the Hunter?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
So it's, if team fights are going to be breaking out, then I would say obviously you don't have time to stack it. But this means that they're going to be waiting and being passive, I would say, to try to get those stacks online. The amount of lifesteal and physical power you get from Devil Gloves definitely matters, and that's a huge power spike that's going to be denied if there's going to be team fights. And knowing emilitoo, he's going to want a team fight with his build. Look at it. It's Ichabod into Witchblade for himself as well.
Oh yeah, this is 100% a fighting build. This is why the answer is the Ichabod rush across the way as well. Usually we see these stacking items built absolutely first, if not right after boots, because the player's in trouble. It's very rare to see these stacking items built third, and we're seeing that more and more with the Ichabod rush being so prevalent. WorldEdit battling, adapting.
Doing a good job out poking and forcing the ultimate though, but he's caught in an awkward spot, the 3-man rotation, and now adapting. Is he gonna live?
He will! One shot away from death, quite literally. He had 8 HP. 8.
It's disgusting what
Single
adapting
digit.
gets away with, man.
Single
Honestly,
digit.
he just dove into a tier 2 tower and got away.
Single digit. Look at both hunters. Look at both hunters. Go back to look at this. Both hunters were baiting each other. They were just waiting around the corner, waiting for each player to come around. Jermain versus emilitoo has been a really fun matchup to really watch develop.
We talked about it before the game started in number 1, and nulisa in a lot of trouble, forced to rewind from iRaffer's ultimate. WorldEdit is here to potentially help out, and Dimi not taking that much damage.
I mean, he's that tanky soul leader already with the Bulwark of Hope being built, and certainly going to allow him to be a little bit more aggressive. Adapting, aggressive as always, takes out WorldEdit. Trouble for Dardez in the jungle. Dimi's going to be stopped by MoGoW, who gets stunned out by Yammyn in turn. Fantastique's mid lane tower being aggressed on. Dimi and Yammyn leading the charge.
It looks like that was the 4th speed buff being taken yet again from adapting. This is why he has this 3-level lead onto WorldEdit. He's not afraid to be aggressive in the jungle. We saw him steal the back left harpies as well, so he's always making these plays.
Adapting on the flank, finds the pull and some of the damage. Ultimate one more time, but shell is popped in response from Fantastique, so no kills out of that one just yet. NRG still leading the way, 5,000 gold now.
Forced the purification out of nulisa to prevent the knock-up, so allowing her to survive a little bit longer. Tier 2 tower still standing, but NRG, they're just grabbing everything. They stole the speed buff away. They're grabbing both mid harpies. Gold Fury spawning in about 2 minutes, but they're still with a nice 5,000 gold lead.
NRG certainly everything looking very strong for them. Much different story from last time. If you had last game's graph, you saw it go up and down and up and down and up and down. Fantastique wound up responding every single time NRG were making a play, usually by way of Gold Fury. This game, however, Fantastique are the one looking up as NRG wind up taking the Gold Fury, NRG wind up taking the team fights. There's really not anything that Fantastique have been able to earn in this game outside of Fantastique First Blood from WorldEdit.
And that's what it happens when NRG does get on a roll at the beginning of the game, with adapting making the plays, with NRG capitalizing off of a team fight win. Because it seems to me before they were getting into their own head a little bit with these Gold Furies, but now it doesn't really matter whenever you're winning these kinds of team fights and you have the playmaking opportunities that NRG does have.
Well, I mean, NRG in game number 1 also got off to a great start with adapting on the Susano. What's the major difference here? Is it just the fact that NRG were able to take away the Gold Fury?
It was the pressure applied onto nulisa and WorldEdit from adapting more than anything else. He was able to really be aggressive in the jungle side. You know, he took away speed buff numerous times. He even invaded the back left harpies very early on in the game, zoning out 2 members on the left-hand side of one team fight. He's been really making the biggest impact, I would say, for all of NRG in this game.
So game number 1, we saw adapting just really sort of powder kegged at the beginning. 3 kills in 5 minutes, and then was a little bit quiet in the mid game. And that's where Fantastique were able to really keep themselves competitive and stay relevant. However, this time NRG, the jungler has sort of spread it out. He's only 2 kills and a single assist, but rather than just putting it all in the early game, he found one here, he found one a couple of minutes later, and able to sort of stretch it out. And that's allowed NRG to have some even pressure and wind up just with this decent lead.
Well, you say 2 kills and 1 assist, but that's all the kills that NRG have. You know, those 3 kills. He's been a part of all of them, as well as Dimi, though. He's been making some really solid on-point rotations, which is why he's been 2 levels ahead of MoGoW now at this phase. Still trying to look for a fight as adapting, while emilitoo split pushing on left.
WorldEdit looking for someone not going to be taking NRG just again. Take a tower. Just pressure being exerted in the jungle, keeping the enemy away from the defensive point.
Still grouping up now. The kind of zoning that NRG has given them the positioning they need to start up this Gold Fury for free. It doesn't look like anybody from Fantastique are going to be here in time.
Nah, nobody's anywhere relatively near the Gold Fury. So it goes down again, and NRG pushed themselves even higher in the lead. 7,400 gold going the way of NRG. And I think the biggest change between game number 1 and game number 2 for NRG is Dimi's presence here in the mid game. We saw the Sun Wukong sort of work things out when it came time to siege, but we just didn't see it. We just didn't see it really have that impact the way the Bellona is doing right now. And as you take a look towards the player damage, one of the issues for Fantastique off of that engagement has been low damage out of WorldEdit.
And that's something that Adapting has been able to exploit because of that early pressure. They hit level 5 first. Typhoon coming out in the corridor, going to find so many members.
They stunned out Adapting to sort of prevent the Typhoon, but if you leave it, it will auto-shoot. Dimi just tanking a ton of damage out of Fantastique. No problem whatsoever. Walled off by WorldEdit. Excellent. MoGoW, a little bit different story for him. He's in a lot of trouble. He can barely escape, but he will for the moment. WorldEdit able to find emilitoo at the back, and MoGoW finally falls down to Adapting.
And Adapting trying to buy so much time with that Sanctuary Purification was used. He has enough mobility to really just walk away as the rewind from nulisa, giving her that second life, and now it's going to be Dimi 1v2.
And Dimi's going to get stunned out by both her and the support. Dardez in trouble. Yammyn off screen takes out Jermain. Dashing forward is Dimi. nulisa trying to deal with the damage, and a great Sanctuary saves the life. Dimi able to 1v2, pushing Dardez and nulisa out of the lane.
And forcing out important relics on the bottom-hand side. We saw Jermain really trying to chase down some of these members from NRG, not really getting the better end of that. So now, with MoGoW now respawning, Jermain's still dead. emilitoo will respawn beforehand, so they could maybe look for Fire Giant.
It's possible. Fantastique do have a couple of players left, though. Dardez and WorldEdit will have... I don't know if WorldEdit will have the ultimate by the time NRG are able to group up, since they're spread out throughout the map, but certainly something for NRG to start thinking about.
They're going to respawn onto emilitoo. We'll see where they decide to go with this. They could look for more towers before they go for fire, because Jermain does have his passive, so he should still get there effectively at the same time that emilitoo would have anyway. So as a result, NRG going to take things slow after picking up their red buff. Heading into the 22-minute mark of the game, Fantastique struggling by 10,000 gold almost.
They've only got 2 towers left as well, both of which are tier 2s over there in the mid and the right-hand side. So NRG certainly ready and available. Almost 10,000 gold in the lead are your defending world champions. 5 kills to 3 as well. So NRG certainly looking a little bit cleaner here in game number 2, I think, versus game number 1.
Jermain pushing on the left-hand side, trying to get some gold back for his team, and it's going to be Adapting, making the rotation, but instantly Jermain doesn't really care. He wants to be able to rotate for this important objective in the late game.
Yeah, I think Jermain was looking more for the farm than the actual tower there on the left-hand side, in all honesty. Just getting the wave. Fantastique now hanging out on the right side of the map. MoGoW sees emilitoo. Everybody knows that the Fire Giant is going to be one of the next objectives here. emilitoo backs in lane so MoGoW sees him. That looked intentional.
I mean, he wanted to finish the Wind Demon right off the bat. I don't think he really is afraid of Fantastique forcing the Fire Giant at this point. Even 4v5, NRG have the tools at their disposal to really hold off Fantastique from securing that.
So emilitoo just... It's less about telling MoGoW he's backing, more about just not giving a damn.
It's all about timing as well. Sometimes you don't want to go into the jungle to back. That takes a little bit extra time, that you really want to have this item for the next objective. Dimi doing a good job of just keeping Jermain busy, I would say. Dimi
has been integral in this game. Earlier on, we saw the 2v1. He's been a big part of what's been able to change versus game number 2. Fantastique get a nice stun onto emilitoo. And again, with the follow-up ultimate out of WorldEdit, but nothing gonna follow that one up. Fantastique have a great opportunity. Jermain on the flank side trying to find what he can, but NRG able to push him forward, group everybody up, and stay on the Isis ultimate.
Great sustain with that Isis ultimate. They're still committing, and nulisa getting stunned out, forced to use the Sanctuary ultimate from iRaffer, and a nice Typhoon with the confirmed kill.
Adapting gets credit for 2-3 for the jungle. 2 tower being looked at right now. Mid lane, just heavy aggression. Sanctuary from WorldEdit will fall. emilitoo gets that one. 4 players dead on the side of Fantastique. NRG take out a tier 2 and start looking at a Phoenix.
They don't even need the Fire Giant at this point. Whenever you have this late game damage out of emilitoo, you have the coerce area of effect from iRaffer. They're going to get the Phoenix. They're going for the win?
Win? Go for the win, NRG says. They're going to head right into the throne room. Chaos Titan being aggressed on. Everybody sleeping for 20 seconds plus, and the Chaos Titan going to fall down 24 minutes. Emilitoo says hi, and there it is, 9-3. NRG take the game 9-4 after a cheeky kill on Emilitoo, but NRG take 2. Above Fantastique, 24 on the clock for that one.
Which is not really surprising, I would say, going into this match, Fantastique against NRG, but they were holding their own, I would say, in that first game. They were doing a great job securing the Gold Fury. Second game, different story being told. And now with that, NRG getting 3 points, still ahead of Bipolar Method.
Yeah, Fantastique looked honestly fantastic in that first game. They had a lot of real nice comebacks there. NRG maintaining their first spot, like you said, and Bipolar Method, the crew formerly known as Panthera, or Paradigm, excuse me, will be there in number 2. And just a reminder, we saw 4 games on the schedule, and we'll be following up with the rescheduled game from yesterday. Bipolar Method will be playing it today, so make sure to stay tuned in after all 4 games.
And that game specifically, both games, I would say, is credited to adapting, especially the second one, where he was able to really make some early game plays. He was doing the same thing in the first game, but without the Gold Furies to his name, his team wasn't able to really follow up. And this is the second game against a Thor, where he was really on top, being able to commit under these tier 2 tower dives. And the fact that he gets away from disengage just really shows why he's considered, you know, the world's best jungler.
I mean, once upon a time, we'd call this pon luck, right? Just getting out with a single digit of HP. I don't know if you call that calculation or luck, but either way, Adapting's got both on his side. Here was the engage out of NRG, where Fantastique have a decent setup. They find the Thor ultimate and even get a flank of Jermain, but NRG are able to deal with it, put down the Isis ultimate, and then when the opportunity is ripe for the taking, Adapting winds up with the trip skis, and everybody just follows suit.
And that's what you need to do out of a jungler. You have to be able to lead the pack the way he's been doing. Denying all the speed buffs from WorldEdit that game was what really gave him that edge to keep being aggressive.
And in game number 1, the Outquag selection just didn't bother NRG whatsoever because of the early game aggression coming out from the Susano. Oh, yeah. Adapting won game number 1, I think, with the early game pressure into the jungle. And then game number 2, we didn't see a lot of him in the highlight reel, but Dimi was really the guy that I was looking at. Difference between game 1 and game 2, Dimi made a big mention during the mid game and was able to really control a lot of different players.
It was all about the rotations that he made. He found the kill onto nulisa that allowed them to finally secure their own Gold Fury for the first time. They were going for an early one. Unfortunately, iRaffer kind of dropped the ball on that one. But either way, they were able to get the gold that they needed to, and they found a nice and clean win compared to the first time.
Exactly. Great stuff coming out of Fantastique versus NRG. We've got Bipolar Method coming up next. Stay tuned for some more European Smite.
When the time comes, be ready, don't you hesitate. There's nobody left in the world who could ever shake my faith.